But here in the main event, here's what we kind of had tabled up to discuss last week. That our Q&A just kind of ran a bit long, which just totally shocks me that we went long on our Q&A. I can't. I don't know. So here we go. The stay-at-home or restart economy. That seems to be the divisive issue of our day on Facebook, I suppose.
Yes, it is.
I see just thing after thing after thing about keep your mask on and stay at home. And on the other side of, we're all going to suffer at the hands of perhaps Hitler-esque communists and whatnot if we don't get back to our rights of working and reopening the economy and the freedom that we have. And so I guess I present the problem and turn it over to you fellas to give the final authoritative answer on this debate. Should our numerous listeners looking to us for wisdom and guidance, should they stay home quarantined, or should they get back out there and get the boots dirty, reopening our economy?
I think the problem has not necessarily been one of those choices, I guess. I think the problem that I've seen is a lack of love and grace on both sides. That for the, stay at home at all cost crowd, if you're leaving your house, like you must be Hitler to hate, people, and you just want people to die. Like you don't care about other people's well-being because you're so selfish that you left the house. Well, let's think about this a little bit. Not everybody can do that. Thank God that I have a job that I don't have to leave the house, that I could do from home. But that is not everybody's situation, right? So let's show some grace to those people who have to leave the house to put food on the table, or otherwise the people in their homes are going to, suffer and die because of starvation. So let's show a little grace there as well. And I think, and this was, as Brett kind of hinted out last week, was the point I was trying to make to those who often say, well, you know what, our government is just tyrannical and they're just trying to get us to fall in line and we need to, have all of our freedoms. And the point I was trying to make is, well, let's give a little bit in the other direction as well. If it's shown that just by wearing a mask, I can communicate to other people that I care about their well-being, well, then why wouldn't I suffer the inconvenience of a mask? Why wouldn't I wear that just to communicate, even if it's not effective, but other people have the idea that it is effective? Well, why wouldn't I do that? As a Christian, don't I want to communicate that I care about people and their well-being? So I guess, I know I'm not directly answering the question, but I guess I'm addressing the underlying lack of civility and grace that people have had with each other. So I guess to quickly answer your question, I think it's, especially here in Indiana, it's moving to the point of, reopening. And I think that's good because we can't just stay sheltered in place forever. As I mentioned, people do need to get out there and, work jobs. And so we can't just rely on the government to give us handouts and stimulus payments all the time.
That won't last forever?
No, shocking. Yeah,
Can't you just print more money?
Yeah.
Is that how it works?
Yeah.
Made in a factory. I'm joking. So no, I love what you're saying though, Nick, and I think you really hit like something really significant to us as Christians, especially, that there seems to be such a zeal to defend our rights and not much of a passion for us to surrender our rights for love of others. And so, like you said, can I defend my right to wear a mask or not? Okay, but it seems more in line with the way of Jesus and the writings of Paul for me to say, I could have the right to not wear a mask, but I can surrender that right out of love. And even if it's only an expression of love, to say I'll wear it if it's important to you, because it's not a right for me to stand on and defend. It's not this non-negotiable. It's not a sin issue. And so, yeah, and that really comes back to the heart of the issue of loving your neighbor well in this, which is going to be difficult because this is new. So what's the most loving? Getting the economy back rolling and recognizing that there's a lot of other issues that are happening with domestic violence, substance abuse that's happening. You have that side, and also loving our neighbor by making sure that we respect and take care and take seriously the issue of our day right now. Yeah, and that's good stuff. Brett, what kind of thoughts have you processed through this?
Yeah, I think Nick, or Nick and Luke, it is answering the question. Because I don't think there is just that simple, direct, one answer. There are multiple elements, I think, involved. And so I've been trying to just kind of sit back and listen and watch. And, I haven't wanted to take a strong position one way or the other, yet, kind of a thing. And because I see both, and I think you guys have both already kind of affirmed that. Is the virus real? Yes. Could it have been manufactured somewhere? Yes, maybe. It could have been. Is it helping for us that we have quarantined? Yes. Are there some governors in our country that have been taking advantage of this situation and abusing overusing their power? Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I think the problem is people will they see that abuse from some of the governors, like Michigan, California, and so on. And so then they apply that to the entire situation. Oh, see, this is just one big government overreach ploy. Yeah. No, right. Not really. I don't think it is. Is it possible in the future that, something like this could sort of ease or make the way or lay the ground for us losing freedoms? Yeah, I think so. Because again, you guys, the biblical worldview, I find people that err on the one side that say, well, the government always has our best interest in mind. They seem to be coming from a humanistic perspective. And, what does the Bible say about humanity and human beings in general? We are fallen, wicked sinners. And so when you get power, I mean, for crying out loud, even when believers get quote unquote power, look at believers who are put in higher up positions. A lot of times they fall, in one way or another. So imagine without Christ, of course, there's going to be that temptation to want to abuse and be greedy and all this kind of stuff. So within the biblical framework, it's not far-fetched that a governor or the government would want to abuse its citizens. Okay, so. But at the same time, I don't think, we can say that that's all this is. And again, so we want a good balanced, I think, position right now. Again, is the virus real? Have people been dying? Have we needed to flatten the curve, so to speak? Yeah, absolutely. I think the shutdown has been helping. On the other hand, people who are advocating for, the one side that we need to protect at all costs against this virus, as you guys have already said, allow grace for the other side. You more than likely aren't in that position where you just lost your business and your livelihood because of this. So to say that the people up in Michigan that were out protesting are just a bunch of dumb hillbilly redneck, Trump Republicans. You know, a lot, if honestly, I told Brittany this, honestly, if I just lost my entire business and livelihood because of this shutdown, I might have been out protesting as well. I mean, think of what that's going to do to your family
Yeah.
and everything, you know, and that you've worked so hard for. So those who are just so, you know, kind of coming from this elitist position and you know, ivory tower position of, you can stay home because it works out okay for me. As you already said, Nick, no, that doesn't work out for everybody. And so not only do we sitting here in the comfort of our own homes need to extend grace to those people that are fighting to reopen the economy, the government needs to extend grace too, where you've seen in some different states, people getting arrested for being on the beach, or I'm sorry, in the park, or hair salon barbershops that have had to open up and were arrested and being taken to court for it. You know, I think our goal was to, for the most part, flatten the curve and keep most people home if they can. But if you have to go open, that should be an option for you in a free country, I think. And so, yeah, there's a lot of elements here. And I think, you know, we need to have some, like you said, give and take, and allow for reasonable giving and taking on both sides there.
Yeah, I think that's good. And just as you even talk about the need for grace to be at play, I think we need to, like, really humble ourselves and say, no one knows definitively and conclusively the best way to move forward. We don't know what's happening in the next 3 months. We don't know if there's going to be a round 2 that goes wild. And I mean, there's so much unknown. And so we need to be able to have the humility. If we're on either end of the spectrum and we realize that we're wrong, we need to have the humility to maybe change that position. And we need to have the grace for one another to not say, see, I told you so, and to rub people, you know, through the mud, because maybe they were on the different end of the position and we ended up being right, or they ended up being right, or whatever it is. We need to be promoting, especially as Christians, if we're Christians engaging in this conversation, we need to be marked with humility to admit if we were wrong on an issue, and to be tremendously gracious to people who didn't align with what we said, because we're just recognizing that we're all trying to navigate a lot of unknown together. And so if we would be marked with just a deeper level of humility and a desire for the good of neighbor, I think the tone of this conversation would look a lot different in a lot of the venues that it's taking place. So,
hey, Luke, I think you were cutting out a little bit. That whole thing about not rubbing it in, I just missed all of that. So I just heard.
You know, I was thinking about editing it out anyway, because I don't know if I want to. Woo! Nick, you were probably going to say something helpful.
Hey, why else am I here? It's my job.
I was just gonna say, I mean, I'll admit that when this first started, I was, you know, and things were open like Home Depot. I was going to Home Depot without a mask because I thought this doesn't make any sense. How does a cloth mask stop a virus? Like, that doesn't. A virus is small enough to get through those fibers, right?
Yeah.
And I started thinking about it, and I started reading the medical studies about the efficacy of just a cloth mask, and how they were hesitant in their conclusions that it does seem to cause some sort of slowdown, or at least you know, transmission of the disease. And so I was like, okay, well, that's good enough. But then I got thinking, like I said, you know, well, other people you know, are judging my level of care for them by just wearing a mask. So why can't I be a missionary to my culture if that's what it communicates? You know, there's just like we might do something that we think has no rationale in another country, but it communicates that we care. In the same way, why wouldn't we be missionaries to our culture, in America. So
Yeah, that's a good point.
so my position has changed basically from, going out in public without a mask to now I do.
Yeah, that's a great example. Yeah. All right, fellas. So we designated this one a mini ep, and we're coming up on about 42, 43 minutes or so at present. So I think we're really close to like doing this, to like nailing a mini ep, which means less than an hour for us, I think. So so let's go ahead and sign off here. But last day of school.
Guys my last
do.
day of school. You're sorry to interrupt you. I
No,
saw you guys were like eyeing this, like, wow, I wish I were Mr. Slofer right now. So
Is that our new sponsor?
Well, maybe, I guess so. Yeti. So check this out. This was a gift I just got today, actually, from a student. They stopped by, and so it's a Yeti can, like cooler thingy. Yeah. So
Yeti
for my
can,
Diet
like
Pepsis.
Could hold water, but why bother? Because
Water?
a Diet Pepsi fits inside there.
Yeah, water.
That's fantastic.
What is this water you speak?
What is the I think so anyway, Ava Staker, actually. Ava and her mom stopped by. So Ava is
Nice.
7th grader, now 8th grader, since this is the last day of school. So they stopped by.
That's awesome.
Like, you know what? Because we were talking about the podcast and said, you always have your Diet Pepsi, and I always do in class. So perfect gift.
So Ava's an 8th grader going into 9th grade?
No, she's 7th grade going into 8th grade. So
gotcha. Okay, so just finished 7th grade year. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You got me excited that I thought I might teach her next year, and I could maybe start sending some subtle hints about what I would like.
Yes. Hey, yeah. So they also gave an electronic $10 coupon or something like that for Amazon. Wow. So
all right, so well done to that family. Because I'm sure all three of us at least saw that we are all Teacher of the Year in Indiana.
Yes.
So all teachers are Teacher of the Year in Indiana.
Yes.
And so
we all got a trophy.
I would like to print off a certificate and hang it up that I was Teacher of the Year for the 2019-2020 school year. So I'll be
signed by Bernie Sanders.
Yeah. So that's it. That's a great conclusion to a really wonderful episode here, in which we proved once again that he who is in us is greater than he that is in the world, and trying to slow us down and stop us. Episode 6 will not be our end. We will persevere unto the end.
Hey, 2 or 3 are gathered here.
Yeah, what's that?
2 or 3 are gathered right here on Zoom.
There it is.
Say you ain't got
power.
Nothing on this.
Right.
I am so afraid for you guys to sign off and leave me alone. I'll be susceptible.
Right.
I lose my power when you guys are gone.
While they're praying, because Jesus doesn't listen. So
right.
So to our students, it's been an honor and a pleasure. We hope to see most of you next year. To our seniors, press on and continue to live through feeding upon this podcast. And we will continue to nurture you through this. And so, that being said, take care.